on the Rhody Sports Network.
You know, to be quite honest with you, it's humbling to be with good people. That's what we wanted to be a part of.
This is the Archie Miller Show. For the next hour, we'll bring you an inside look at Rams basketball. Tonight's show is brought to you by Pizza Gourmet. Rhode Island's wood-grilled pizza crust is a proud sponsor of URI Athletics. Dunkin' Donuts. Sip the Rhody way. Rhode Island Medical Imaging, the official medical imaging company of URI Athletics. Newport Propane, Rhode Island's #1 choice for all your propane needs. Ortho Rhode Island, the official orthopedic and sports medicine provider for URI Athletics. Dave's Fresh Marketplace, better food, better service. Bank RI, bank on our strength. Now, here's your host, Steve MacDonald.
All righty, welcome to our favorite place, the Mews Tavern. George McAuliffe, who is the owner, and I called him owner and proprietor last time. He said that's the same thing. So I don't know, you know. So he's just here hanging out, general manager, whatever you want to call him. He's the best. He's a great URI family member, and also he's got a cool place here at the Mews. It's Valentine's Day tomorrow, right? This place will be hopping. If you're looking for a place to go out to dinner on Valentine's Day, you can start right here at the Mews. Great. You're all planned out, Coach? You got all that taken care of? Between games? I got a great idea.
You just reminded me it was Valentine's Day.
I got a great idea from Morgan to go with a little lunch here on Saturday, then give her tickets to the URI LaSalle game. How about that, huh?
I wish she would. She's actually checking in on our daughter down in Louisiana.
Oh,
they have
cool.
They have the #1 versus #2 matchup on Friday night. I think they're expecting the largest crowd for a women's gymnastics meet in the history of NCAA. Over 15,000 on Friday nights expected.
That is amazing.
Yeah, 1 versus 2 for the SEC race as it keeps going on. So she's heading down there to check them out on Friday night.
How's your daughter like it down there?
She loves it. Yeah, she's had a great experience in school, and she's had a great experience being a part of the program. And, you know, we're very thankful and fortunate, probably like a lot of our players. When you join into a program, you immediately have a family. You know, when you go away to college, there's a lot of kids that go away to school that just don't have that immediate connection. So we're fortunate and excited.
Part of your family is sitting right over here. He's going to be with us a little bit later. Jamarques Lawrence. How about a nice round of applause for Jamarques, huh?
See what happens when you make a game winner? You get invited over to the radio show.
That's right. Hey, you're only trailing Sebastian 5-1.
Yeah, Sebastian's been here like 7 straight Mondays. You just get your first one.
We're working on it, though. We can get another one Saturday maybe, you know, and we'll go from there. We'll start chipping into that lead a little bit.
We'll take it.
Coach, we're going to talk about Jamar and that shot and his performance, career-high 20 points. But first, let's mention Sebastian. Here's a guy that has had 5 practically buzzer beaters and really 6 game winners. You include the free throws against Yale down the stretch. And he has the ball in crunch time, and he finds the open man in the corner.
Yeah.
To me, that's maturity.
You know, it's really unique to have a guy in his situation that's made so many baskets, shot attempts, or fouls that he doesn't say, you know, I'm gonna do it again. Absolutely. But you know, when you're cerebral, you have a good IQ, and most importantly, when you have the ball skills that he has to be able to get to where he can get to, it's just impressive that he's thinking the game at that stage. And Jamarques actually really did a great job on the play of being able to move when he moved. You know, so much about getting guys shots or being available for shots is, do you move when the ball moves? And I thought Jamarques, we call him sprintaways, but he was able to read on Bassie's drive and sprint away from the defender who sort of came in and said, hey, we got to help on the guy who's probably going to take the shot.
Sure.
And he made a great look, and he was ready to shoot it, and I knew when he let it go, it was good.
I watched it about 4 or 5 times today. There were 4 guys around Sebastian in that lane.
If he would have shot it, I mean, there was going to be he was the only guy not in the paint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So many times you see the film, and you're like, God, there's 8 bodies in there. If they would just throw it out, we get a wide-open shot. And, he trusted him. And I thought Jamarques, like I said, he moved and he was ready. And, good things happen when you do what you're supposed to do.
A couple of more things about Bassie, and then we're going to move on. But he has 127 assists now this season. Only 5 URI players have gotten to 150 in a year. He's on pace for that. Tyson Wheeler, Jeff Doughton, Silk Owens, Parfait Bate, and Herb Dixon. Got some pretty nice names in there. He's got 37 steals as well, so he's a few away from 50. as far as getting to the mark just below 50, you're talking Tyson, Herb Dixon, John Evans. So he's in great company there as well. This guy is, putting it together.
You know, I think the one thing that's unique about small guards, you always watch how they impact the game in other ways, you know, because they are deficient in terms of their size sometimes defensively. But when you're small, is it deflections? Is it the hustle charges? Is it steals? You know, what do you do otherwise other than just play the position, so to speak, that impacts the game? And I think there's multiple times where you can watch Sebastian. He defensive rebounds pretty well for a small point guard. Yeah. You know, he's able to get 1 or 2 steals in their game. He gets some deflections. And I think that, you know, he impacts the game a lot for us in other ways other than just a points, assists, or whatever it may be. He draws a lot of fouls as well for our team. So he as a small guard impacts statistically a lot of the things that you love to see when you have an undersized guy.
Yeah, you look at his numbers, 19 points and 36 minutes to play. He's number 1 in assists in the league, number 1 in steals in the league going into last night's game. Yeah. But he also gets 4 rebounds a game. You mentioned that's a pretty good number.
We're a small group right now in particular, so you have to do it by committee. But some of the best teams that I've been a part of and watched, you kind of track the defensive rebounding by your perimeter people. If your perimeter guys can rebound, you really have a chance to be a pretty good transition team. You have a pretty good chance of being a good defensive rebounding team. When it's by committee. But when your guard's defensive rebound, and especially as a point guard, you can get 3 or 4 defensive rebounds a game. It's a huge help.
URI 68, St. Bonaventure 64. A really good one last night. Great second half for Rhode Island. So you led 2-0, 23 seconds in. You didn't lead again until 60-59 with 3.5 minutes to play. Going that amount of time, nearly 36 straight minutes, trying to catch up to the other team. Does that have its effect on you, Coach, as a team?
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, I think, being able to deal with adversity is probably the number one thing in today's game. It's difficult because you don't have a group that's been together for a long period of time, or you haven't coached a group that you've coached them for 2 or 3 years. Sort of been there, done that. They know how to do it. And sometimes the team has to grow into a tough-minded group. So dealing with adversity, being down 10, being down 8, not getting off to a good start, I think at times wears on us because I think our offense impacts our defense a little bit. And, I said it after the game. I think our team in general had that, deer in the headlights look when we started to, not play well, like here we go again type of thing. But to their credit, and as it's been almost all year, there is a resilience to them to stay with our concepts of what we teach. And I think the number one emphasis, and I think any player on our team would agree, as we're involved in the game, from the jump ball to the finish, we really try to concentrate our guys on, we call them wars. There's 10 4-minute wars, 10 4-minute mini games that if you just, can you win that 4-minute segment? And it helps them, I think, get positive influence in a timeout when you win one when you weren't playing real well. And then the next thing you know, hey, we got 2. And then the next thing you know is sort of like, oh, the game's pretty close again all of a sudden. And so you have to, shrink it for them and not make it overwhelming where they try to make home run plays or they just get too caught up in the emotions. And in the first half, I think it was first 2 we got down, then we won 2 in a row, and then we screwed up the last 4 minutes of the first half. We gave them, I think, an 8-0 run. So really at halftime, it was like they got 3 wars, we got 2, but there's still 5 to go. And I think our guys have understood that, if we just play the wars, win as many as we can, then usually you're going to be in it when it matters the most. And I think that's played out a lot this year, and we've also come out atop a lot this year by staying with that. And last night we got all 5 in the second half. We won, just even if it's a 1-point win, hey, we won the war. We won the war. We always say we won the war. We got 3. And all of a sudden it's a 3-point game, 2-point game with 8 to go. It's like, wow, we worked that back. So we really kind of that's a big deal. It always has been, always will be. I think it's great for the players to understand that there's small windows of opportunity that matter, not the big grand scheme of things. Down 12, up 12, you got to win the wars, and that's helped us.
Do you chart, or it'd be fun to chart to see whoever won the war, how often they win the game? Do you have any?
We always say the team that wins the most 4-minute wars wins the game, and usually that plays itself out.
Yeah.
But we always will say it's like a football, you always see the guys that going into the fourth quarter, they hold up number 4, and it's like, hey, we're in the fourth quarter. This is our time. This is finishing time.
Yeah,
this is
right.
why you do all the conditioning, all the weightlifting. For us, it's the 10th war. Win the 10th war, win the game.
You brought up that, the conditioning time, end of the game type of thing. I want to throw a stat at you that I thought was amazing and get your thoughts on how you read it. The Rams 5-7 in Atlantic 10 action. The 5 wins by a total of 18 points.
Yeah.
5 wins, 18. That's an average of 3.5 points per game. You won by 3, 3, 2, 6, 4. Now, there's 2 ways to look at it. Glass half empty, we almost lost those games. Or glass half full, we know how to win in close ones.
We've been in so many. I mean, we really have. I think, we talked about it as a staff the other day. Really from, the beginning of December until right now, every game that we've played has been to the finish. So we've been in a 20, maybe 15-plus games that have come down to that. I wish we were stronger earlier in games. I wish we were more commanding, especially at home where we didn't get down. But I'll also tell you this, been on the other end of that spectrum where, you get down a few times, you get knocked on your bell, you don't believe you can win. Our guys believe we can win. We just have to figure it out a little bit better in terms of, like, the consistency of early in the game and not turning it over in the first half as much. And really, I said it last night, our offense has hurt us in conference. We've been getting a lot of different looks in league play. There's some things that have really, really bothered us in league play. And I think just as we approach moving down the stretch here the next 3 weeks, hopefully we can make a couple key corrections, so to speak, to what we're trying to do, and it'll open some things up for us where we're maybe not as stressed offensively.
You mentioned that in the postgame. You said,
Yeah.
I've been stubborn. Have to alter something offensively.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I think one thing that we're really struggling with, there's really nowhere to go when teams have been able to effectively switch and do different things to keep us in front. And we get bogged down. We have to play more one-on-one. We don't have as much freedom of movement, ball movement. Really, in the non-conference, that wasn't an issue. It really wasn't. We didn't see a lot of the coverages that we see right now. The talent that we're playing against, the size is in some cases equal or bigger. So to me, as we look at some things here that we're doing, whatever we can do to allow our players freedom of movement, more ball movement, more space to go, is probably the way we have to start thinking about it, because you can't get down 12 and 14 and 16 every game and then all of a sudden, hey, coach, you just don't have your guys ready to play. And I'm calling BS on that. I watch them every day practice. I know they're doing what we're asking them to do. I know they're trying to do what we're asking them to do, and I also know they want to do well. But it's not working. So you can be stubborn and say, hey, we're going to keep getting better at the same thing, but it's not going to solve the problem. We have to solve the problem. And for us, the problem really at the end of the day to me is teams are trying to keep us from getting to the foul line, from getting to the rim, from driving the ball to the paint, because that's what we're good at. And they're making us sort of like play more of a thinking man's game. And we need more we need more players just making plays, reacting, playing with one another a little bit more. So I think spacing is a big deal for us right now. I think driving and kicking and sharing is way more important than anything that we're doing right now, because we are getting collapsed so much. And then I think giving our front court players a little bit more freedom where they're not as hampered in terms of, like, they can't go anywhere either. So we're trying to think about some things. We've had a unique team as well. I think that's the other thing that's a little bit unique is we haven't had our full ensemble of guys in the month of January and February. We're always out a guy or two. And we've been on the fly a couple times, and I think if we could just get some consistency in the way that we're working every day, open some things up and give ourselves a chance a little bit more, maybe some freedom of movement, maybe some freedom of ball movement in general, we may have a little bit more room to go, and I don't hopefully think that will bog us down as much. We
talked about Sebastian earlier, 0 points in the first half, and Chris Desano was talking during the game about he had 0 points in the second half of the previous game. He had been banged up a little bit in that one, but, gone a while. And then 15 in that second half against Bonaventure and getting downhill like you talked about, getting in the lane and making things happen.
Yeah, I don't think that he's forcing it, a whole lot. I mean, our George Mason game was very, very, it was a challenging game. Mason's a great team. They're big. They have a lot of size. And I do think, like, if you just watch the games after we play them and you watch the film, there's really, really a big emphasis right now on taking Sebastian's air out of his lungs,
sure.
wearing him down, doing everything you can to kind of not let him be the guy that beats you a little bit. And I think, that's tiring for a guy like him who plays a lot, guards the ball a lot. Second half, I thought one thing that really helped him, and it also helped us, was that we started the second half, especially in the first 8 minutes, with stops. So we got some easy ones. We got some transition. We started to, sort of get going a little bit where ball went in a couple times. And I think once that happened, he had his legs under him a little bit more. And I thought he was really, really good in transition last night as much as anything.
You've always been honest during these press conferences and during the coaches' shows as well, which I really appreciate.
Are you not allowed to be honest?
No, it's good. It's not always the case.
You're supposed to lie in the
There is another option. I'm glad you don't choose it. Let me take you back to one more question about the Bonaventure before we do talk about Jamarques' shot. 8:07 p.m., right? Done with the halftime talk. You're out there. You're ready to get the ball inbounds. 20 minutes of basketball left, down by 12 after having the first half that you had. Do you sit there and say the fate of this season is going to be decided in the next 20 minutes of basketball?
I don't say that at halftime, but I definitely.
No, not to the kids, but to yourself. Do you say, hey, you know what?
I think once
we drop this one.
I think the one thing is, like, when you learn about competition, you become normal and natural and confident when the ball goes up. You become yourself. You're in the moment. I think everything before that and everything after that, it's chaos in your own brain. You're always trying to create, narratives for your team. You're trying to think about things. But make no mistake, I'm a big believer in not dropping more than 2 in a row in any part of the season, but in particular in conference play. So many times seasons turn south when you can't recover after a back-to-back. And it goes to 3. Next thing you know, it goes to 4. Oh, God, we're never going to win again. It feels like you never won again because he'll be the first guy to tell you he's been – in the Big Ten, like, you could go on a 5-game run where you don't win. And it's almost like, oh, my gosh, I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to come out of my house. I don't want to go to the gym. It's miserable to the point where it deflates your team. You need a tough-minded group. And we've had 2 of these situations now, unfortunately, in the last 3 weeks where we've been, hey, we got to win this one. And UMass was in the same situation. And last night was in the very same situation where we have to have this. And I didn't say it during the game or after the game. I acknowledged it, and I acknowledged it to these guys before the game. Like, we got to step up to the plate, and we've delivered before, and we have to do it again tonight, and we did.
I like the message you got to your kids this afternoon about splits and sweeps.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you break it down week by week and you say you got 2 games each week, you could pretty much look at it and say if we got 2, are we going to sweep the week, are we going to split the week, or are we going to get swept? And getting swept is the worst. Getting the split, sometimes if you're 2 on the road, you're like, if we split the road games, hey, not bad. At times, if you got 2 at home, there's only one thing that makes sense, just in terms of like what's going to add up. And I think this is maybe our first opportunity all conference play where we're looking at a home game after a win. I
want to talk about LaSalle in just a bit too, Coach. Observation from a reporter during the press conference yesterday said that with the win, you guys are guaranteed 500. I loved your response. You said, I didn't come here to be 500. You did say that it's taken a little longer than anticipated. Talk about the challenges and talk about where you think you are as a team on that rebuild.
Well, I would say this, when you take over a job, I think the one thing that's very, difficult to describe is where you start.
Yeah.
And I think your starting point says a lot about, like, where you're trying to go. Our starting point wasn't very high when I first got here. We didn't have much in the cupboard, so to speak, and at that time, things had changed in the transfer portal. Things had started to change in NIL, and we had a long road to start to climb. And I thought that last year's group was more talented but underachieved, and I was disappointed in how that year turned out. Honestly, I think I said that as soon as the season's over. We had more and a better collection of guys in year 2 that couldn't overachieve because of lack of togetherness, chemistry, and some talent deficiencies or whatever it may have been. But it was disappointing. And we, from the minute that the season ended until looking at year 3, I mean, that deep dive and the amount of time that it took and takes to build a philosophy year to year now about what you need to do, how you can do it with what you have. I thought that this was the best team. I thought this was the best team that we assembled. I thought we had the right parts and the right seats. And I thought at the end of the day, this one would be the first one that we've had that we had really identified roles. We had really identified, players in the right spots. We had some guys coming back for the first time that had played last year. Hopefully we could get some there. And I felt like this team can really compete. And, I'm not real sure what the record will be or what you'll say it will be. But I will say this, we have 16 wins right now. Mm-hmm. We have a long way to go. Obviously, conference play is where you earn your stripes, so to speak, in terms of growing, and we have more to go there. We'll wait and see what it looks like at the very, very end when they tell us we don't have any more games. But, yeah, we're slowly figuring it out. We're slowly climbing. I think I'm disappointed in a couple games this year myself that we couldn't pull out or we weren't a little better. But we also have had 2 or 3 that, quite frankly, went our way that maybe shouldn't have went our way. Mm-hmm. So it usually balances out. But, the world we're in right now and building a program is completely polar opposite in how you build a program 5 years ago or 10. There's a lot of different factors in play right now in terms of where you're going year to year. But I want to enjoy these guys, and I think my message to them is very clear. We're going to do the work the right way, and we are not going to cheat each other, me, you, or you, me, and we're not going to have regrets. Mm-hmm. We will finish the right way. We will go about things the right way, and we'll give ourselves the best chance because you have to exhaust yourself with the work right now. I want our senior class in particular that doesn't have eligibility left to leave Rhode Island with, number 1, the degree, and then number 2, a place they can come back and have a great experience. We won. We turned it around. Whatever it may be, I want those guys to be a group that looks fondly on this place in terms of how they finished.
Love that. Love that indeed. Second half, last 2 games has been a different starting lineup than at the beginning of that game. David Fuchs got the start in both those second half opportunities.
Yeah.
A couple other changes. Do we anticipate anything
all momentum
at the start of the game come Saturday or future?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think as the game is going, we have a very clear distinction on whose mind is right, who's playing well, who's not. And we're playing to win right now. So if there needs to be a change made, and I think trying to get the best version of ourselves out there all the time is important. And but I don't anticipate changes right now.
Could you talk about David? He used to be a good piece. Now he's a really, really good player. I mean, he is a contributor, big time.
He's a piece of work. That guy right there. He really is. He is a piece of work. I mean,
I love him, man.
The thing about him is. I give him credit. He's sort of like the old school feel of like what you would get with a young guy when you would bring him in early in his career, and then by the end of his sophomore year, early junior year, you start to see like, wow, that's like the normal progression of what it used to be. Like guys getting older, guys getting better. But in his credit, he started off his sophomore year really bad. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that was disappointed. Didn't quite know how he was going to fit in. Javante had come in and, we had some guys back, and he was having to figure out how he wanted to fit in with our current group. How does he, his style kind of fit with these other guys? And I thought at the beginning of this year, October and November, he was behind. Mm-hmm. And he had that sort of like frustration in our first couple games of the year, 2 or 3 games of the year, where he didn't look as good. And then he turned it on. I'm going to say he turned it on for us, really in December. He got with it. He started really practicing hard. He started really, really working on his game in the off time, and he's played a pivotal role in our wins. Right now he's playing career best basketball, but I'll also tell you he's practicing career best basketball right now. I mean, he's got a great motor. He's physical. His offensive game is coming around. His defensive game is better than it was a year ago. It's not great in terms of like where we need him to be in terms of protecting the rim and stuff, but right now there's not a better rebounder in our conference per minute played. He's starting to develop offensively, not only even low post offensive rebounding, but I think it's just a matter of time before he starts to make a 3 or 2 a game. Mm-hmm. But I'm proud of him where he's at, and I think he's given us a chance here down the stretch to have a damn good inside player, playing at the right time, playing really hard.
Yeah, he was 1 of 7 from 3, but he's 2 for 2 over the last few games.
He's fine there. Just his repetitions from the three-point line in game action, he just hasn't had a ton of them, but he has to shoot them.
Cam, it's been up and down for him. Right now, his stock is rising. Gave you a couple of good ones.
Stock is rising. Cam's had a hard year.
Mm-hmm.
He's had a hard year just in terms of, like, his own mind and his own disappointment at time has gotten him into what I would call a hole where he's thinking about the wrong things. I really think he had an attitude adjustment coming off of Fordham where he said to himself, like, I'm going to finish the right way. I tried to help him with that a little bit when we got back from Fordham, and I didn't really ask him anymore. You know, I think it's time for guys to step up at this time of year where if they're going to make something of their year, if they're going to help and contribute to win, they have to do it a certain way. And he stepped up and played some good basketball for us at George Mason, and I think that he's playing a bigger role for us right now. He's obviously a really good shooter. His percentage doesn't say that this year, and part of that is shot selection. I can't think of very many poor shots that he's taken in the last 2 games, and I think as long as he takes good ones, I think he's going to potentially go on a little run here in terms of open ones, making them. But we need him to play tougher. We need him to play grittier. We need him to play more assertive in like the what I call kind of big boy moments. Like he's got a big boy up, you know, a little bit right now for us in terms of being where he's at in his career at the end of his sophomore year. But it's not really how you start. It's always kind of how you finish. And I think he's a prime example of if he has the right mindset here down the stretch, he'll play better for us.
I want to ask you about LaSalle, and I got a couple of last things. But before we forget, Jamarques sitting over there. We're going to talk to him about that shot and everything. But your thoughts, what you saw. You had a good view of it, Coach. You were right there. And I think one of the important things, being at practice, I see this a lot. People think, hey, it's like playground. Here we go. It's a fast break. Everybody's going somewhere. They know where they're supposed to be. It's all rehearsed, right?
Jamarques is a really smart player. I think it's one of the things we value with him. He has a high IQ. He's smart. He knows what to do, when to do it. I think sometimes he gets bothered at times when it doesn't go right or it doesn't look right. And he has to be able to play through that. And I thought yesterday was a great example of him playing basketball. Not thinking, not worrying. Yeah. He was playing basketball. He made a lot of good, strong plays on both ends of the floor. And then all of a sudden, some of the things that he naturally does well just started to happen for him. He made some shots. I knew the last one was going in. It just was the basketball gods rewarding the proper play, the proper pass, the proper guy doing the right things. But to his credit, he shows up every day. You know, you know what you're pretty much getting from him every day in practice. He's become a very trusted defender. You know, most people don't understand, but like he's guarding the other team's best perimeter player almost every single night. He's really grown in that area. But he's done a good job, and I think, you know, as long as he continues to stay the course with his work ethic, which he does, and he continues to just play basketball, I think that our ceiling goes up. You know, I think, you know, when Jamarques plays the way he played last night, we're a different team. If we can get Javonte to play a little bit better, we're a different team. And I think that's the key right now is just get guys to play ball. Stop worrying about what's going on. Play hard, play the next play, you know, and work hard every day at it, and good things will happen.
And you, I know, have made a real point of getting high-character guys into this program over the years, and you got one in him.
Yeah, no question. That's probably the best thing about Jamarques is, regardless of basketball, where he's supposed to be, doing the best job that he can in school, where he's accountable in all areas. He's an adult, pre-practice, post-practice, always working on his game. But no question about it. I mean, it's one of the true unsung things that happens around – sort of building a program. You got to get the right guys, and he's clearly one of those.
And I'm going to steal one from you, J-Mo. We were talking earlier about the family and everything. Do you know his dad's favorite college basketball team? NC State.
I did not know that.
That was even before he knew you, so that was pretty good, right?
I tell you what. He must have been watching me play or something like that.
I'm sure that was it.
He must have turned on the TV one day and saw me and said, "That's my favorite team right there." Right? No, that's it all depends on when you grew up, right? If you were
that's it.
If you were an early '80s, mid '80s, late
Jim Valdano kind of guy, yeah.
Fire and ice.
LaSalle 70, URI 64 in Philly. You got them Saturday. What did you learn from that?
That was a bad game. I mean, I really felt like we couldn't have played worse. Offensively, we were very, very not confident in that game. We turned the ball over. We missed wide-open shots and layups. We had a very hard time picking on them and letting them get away with how they played in the game defensively in terms of switching and doing some things. Defensively, we played hard. I thought defensively we did enough in the game. I think it was a 58-up game with 2 minutes to go, or 56 with 2 minutes to go. I mean, it was a one-possession game the whole way. But we didn't play well at all offensively. And I will say this, that I thought LaSalle's length gave us a lot of problems. Their switching caused problems. They blocked, I think, 9 shots in the game, and a lot of them were just hard plays at the rim where we didn't share it or whatnot. But Coach Dunphy, he hasn't won however many games he's won because he doesn't know what he's doing, right. And they're always going to be a very, very hard game to play in. In the case of playing them 3 weeks later, I think they're still fresh on our mind about that day. Didn't feel well, and I hope that we're ready to go because we're going to need to be ready to go because obviously they know what they're doing, and I think we can be a lot better. I think we can be a lot sharper, in particular offensively, playing them the second time. But it'll always come down to the same things. How hard are you playing, and are you taking care of the ball? Are you rebounding the ball? If you take care of things you can kind of control, you'll be in good shape. But we need to play much better this time around offensively to have a chance.
That was only 5 games ago, like you said, not too long ago at all. Demetrius Lilly did not play in that game for them. Right. He'll be out there, I imagine, on Saturday.
He's back. He's back. The unique thing is that was the first game he didn't play. And because he wasn't available, they had to play 5 guards the whole game. And because they played 5 guards the whole game, they really knocked us on our heels with the ability to do different things in that game. It was a weird game for us in terms of that. We were prepared to go in and do a couple things, and next thing you know, that wasn't the same team. Now he's back, and him and ETN will play the center position a little bit more, which maybe it is, but they had success playing small, so we have to be prepared to play their small team as well.
President Parlange had an event today.
He did, yeah. It was probably being around President Parlange for however many years I've been here now. I don't believe I've seen a more excited President Parlange than I did today.
No kidding.
This was his baby right here, I think, in terms of the work that went in and his staff, the university in general, becoming, a newly minted, so to speak, R1 researched institution. And I think it's in the top 4% of all universities in the United States of America. It's a big, big deal in terms of the research institutions in the United States of America to be at that stage. A lot of it has to do with our Bay campus, I think, and the blue economy and the ocean and whatnot. But that's been a big charge of his, and that sort of checked the box, I think, for him as one of his great moments as president here that he can add to the university as we keep moving forward is all the good things that, University of Rhode Island can now spearhead in terms of research, for all different types of things. But, you stack up with Michigan and North Carolina,
right?
The Ivy Leagues, it's pretty good.
Absolutely. One other thing I want to mention, Captain's Corner on GoRhody.com. Sebastian and David are doing essays each week, publishing those with Shane Donaldson, the assistant athletic director, as a mentor. And Sebastian's first one is out. David's, I think, is coming out today or tomorrow.
Nice.
And they'll go on for a few weeks or several weeks, a chance to get a little inside look at them and how they look at the game and how the team is interacting and things of that sort. So I'm sure that's something you're awfully proud of, Coach, to see them communicating that way.
I like when people get to know our guys.
Yeah.
I don't think in today's day and age of college basketball you get to know them very long.
Yeah.
You just don't see them grow up and for you. You don't see them spend a lot of time, as much time as you used to be around players because they're in a program for one time. So sometimes you get a snapshot of them and you just see them on game day. You don't see them as much. So getting to know our players, having our players out there in the public, having their faces out there in the public, and what they do, on a daily basis, learning them, is good for them.
Absolutely. And so that's GoRhody.com. And another way to get to get involved is with Rhody Excellence with Stone Freeman, the executive director. So that's another opportunity for people to get involved in similar ways. Final question, annual question. I loved your answer the first year we were together doing games. Xavier was in town the other night. They beat Providence. Yeah. So the Miller guys were 2-0 last Wednesday, last night.
It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
If he wins, we lose. If we win, he loses. I'd much rather us win and he lose than him win and us lose. But very often do we get a 2-0. But when they come up to PC, they've had some success.
40 miles apart. Did you get together? Or,
I didn't. It would have been like he didn't even know he was in town. And he probably didn't even remember I lived in Rhode Island until after he was flying home. So there's a lot going on out right now, and there's not a whole lot of fun and games involved with this time of year.
It's
but
off-season stuff.
Yeah, I wish I could have, but I never really knew what Rhode Island really was about. Most people would say we don't go down south or we don't go up north, and I was like, it's like 25 minutes away. What are you talking about? But I don't go up north.
You're a South County guy.
Nothing
wrong with that.
I don't leave the grid, baby. I stay right here.
This is where it's happening, right here.
No question.
Archie Miller with us, ladies and gentlemen. Good luck on Saturday, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Appreciate you. Archie Miller. Fantastic. We're going to be back in just a second. We're going to talk to Jamarques Lawrence, the hero of last night's game. Be with us in just a second. Welcome back to the Mews Tavern. George McAuliffe. Get ordering my pizza, will you, George? For God's sake, stop talking to people. God almighty, honestly. A little grilled chicken and what do I get? Sauteed onion on my pizza. What do you get on your pizza?
I'm a plain guy.
Plain cheese?
I'm a plain guy. I mean, I go half plain, half pineapple.
Oh, don't tell me that. Please
like,
don't tell me that.
I do
All
like
right.
pineapple on my pizza.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Drive safely. We'll see you now. Pineapple, you one of those guys?
Yeah, I'm one of them.
Ham and Hawaiian pizza?
No ham.
No ham? Okay.
Just straight pineapple.
Well, that's a little better.
Yeah.
And you did make the big shot last night. All right, I'll stay. Jamarques Lawrence is with us, ladies and gentlemen, the hero of last night's game for Rhode Island and a great contributor to URI throughout the entire year. Love having you around. This is the Archie Miller Coaches Show from Learfield, and it's presented by the Mews Tavern. That's our friend George McAuliffe, best in the business. And it's live on the Rhody Sports Network. I want to thank our sponsors, Haxton's Liquors, where they buy the most, so you pay the least. Visit them on Bald Hill Road today, and they have the Rhody IPA and the Rhody Lager that are out there now at Haxton's and a lot of other liquor stores throughout the state of Rhode Island. So, and part of that money goes to Rhody Excellence, goes to the universities. Are great ways of enjoying great lager and IPA, and also helping out the university and the men's basketball team. So we ask you to get involved in that way. Newport Propane, Rhode Island's #1 choice for all your propane needs. Family owned and operated since 1959. Newport Propane will treat you like part of the family. Visit them at newportpropane.com. That's Pete and Jocelyn Sherman, our good friends. And the Pizza Gourmet, Rhode Island's Wood Grilled Pizza Crust, proud sponsor of URI Athletics. Order online today at woodgrilledcrust.com. That's woodgrilledcrust.com. And that's Jack and Linda Parenti doing the job. They had a big Super Bowl day. Everybody bought the pizza crust and made their own pizzas. Awesome, awesome stuff. They are great friends of the University of Rhode Island, and we thank them for all their assistance. Jamar. Here's the headline in GoRhody.com when I wake up this morning, right? Mm-hmm. It says, Lawrence propels Rhode Island past St. Bonaventure. Sound pretty good to you?
It sounds good. If I'm in the header, it sounds good.
That's right.
I know I'm doing something right.
Push Jamar to the top of the list. Absolutely. I want to talk about the shot. Did you get the game ball?
I did it.
No?
I did it.
Vin, can we get on that? Tomorrow morning we'll have it. Vin will have it all wrapped up for you tomorrow morning. Vin Turco, the Associate Athletic Director at Rhode Island, he's in charge of all those things.
He is, yeah.
So he's gonna find that ball that was used, the one that you actually shot. We still got the game. You know which one's the game ball is, and that's gonna live in Plainfield, New Jersey for a long time to come. Sound good? You got any memorable like basketballs from your high school days or anything that are home or anything?
Just the 1,000-point. You know, everybody gets the 1,000-point ball in high school. Yeah, I don't know where that ball is right now. But
well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to call you in 30 years. You better tell me where this ball is,
right,
okay?
Right.
All right? We want to make sure you got it. The actual shot I want to talk about, but I do want to talk about the reaction. Did you have any classes today?
I did.
Yeah. Did a lot of people on campus say, hey, great shot last night?
No. Everybody walked past me like they know me. Yep, went to class.
Incognito.
Just incognito. It's all good, though.
Well, I'm speaking on behalf of all of them. Great shot last night, all right?
Appreciate it.
I'll tell you for sure. Absolutely. Take us down the floor, right? You got a few seconds to go. Sebastian's got the ball. What are you thinking? Are you saying he's going to put it up? Or are you saying I'm ready to roll?
Well, yeah, I'm always ready to roll in those situations. So I'm on the court. But in that situation, we definitely saying, or I was thinking, definitely put it in Bassie's hands. I mean, you guys talked about it earlier. He didn't hit so many game winners, or he's just involved in the late game situation. So that was huge for us to be in that situation with him, and he just made a great play. I don't know why my defender helped. Strong side corner. We teach that in college. We teach that in high school, man. You never help on a strong side corner, and luckily my guy did it. And just with my work and what I do every day, I was ready for the shot, and I synced it.
Coach said that he knew it was going in. He said the basketball gods and everything, but
right.
He had that cross court look. I sit right on the opposite side, so I had a pretty good look deep into that corner. And I felt the same way. You went straight up. It looked like you had the time you needed, and you were right in rhythm. Were you pretty confident with the way you caught the ball and got that shot up?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I knew what we talked about. Coach said earlier, the sprint away. We talked about. I seen Bassie. He was going middle, or he was at the top of the key. He was going towards the left side. We talk about just guys who's on the wing. Just following behind him, and I seen him come back the other way. So it was important for me to. Just to move off ball. It's something I do well, just moving off the ball, just trying to be in certain spots, where the guy can hit me with. He hit me with a really great pass in the shot pocket. And, as a shooter, it's really important, just to get the ball in the right spot, so you can just release it really good. And, I felt good about it.
What I was impressed with him, the two of you did the press conference afterward. You both did an excellent job with the post-game press conference. And he said that, I saw Jamarques and I knew he was having a great day.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get, to not only say there's an open guy with the same uniform I'm wearing, but to identify you and say that's a better shot that I'm going to get.
No, most definitely.
And you're a combo guard, so you play the point as well. You know what that's all about. Talk about that instinct.
Yeah, right. I mean, we actually talked about it, previous, the past week, just him finding me more. And it's also about just me being more confident, too. Something I'm working on and something I'll continue to play with.
I in hindsight, it's easy to say, I noticed that. But I did notice a different Jamarques at the beginning of that game, before it even started, and then in those first few seconds of the game, few minutes of the game, you took 3 of the first 5 shots that Rhode Island took, which is not normally the way it goes. Usually you kind of get into it a little bit, and then the rhythm starts. Was there anything purposeful for you to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to look for it sooner and more often?
I think just me, all year, with my experience, I think just me, I'm still trying to see where I can fit in from, or just kind of letting the game flow towards me. I knew coming into last night's game, I told myself, man, as soon as the ball's tipped, I'm aggressive from the get-go. The ball was moving well last night, and when the ball is moving well too, everybody can just be aggressive like that and make plays.
So it was a little different in the way you approached that game.
Definitely.
That mindset?
Yeah, just the mindset. I'm going to just be more aggressive. Watching film with coaches, too. We was just watching, just certain situations that I'm in. When I catch the ball, I'm really just in my head to just, when I get the ball, just shoot it. I kind of just force up shots a lot. Just being honest, I kind of just force up shots. So just me getting the ball, triple threat. We talked about too a lot, and just attacking the paint, not only for myself to score, but just to make plays for others too.
You mentioned in the post-game press conference that you certainly wanted to put yourself in a position where you could excel, and you said watching film helps.
Yes.
Do you watch? You mentioned watching yourself. Do you also watch the opponent? All right, this guy or this guy is going to be guarding me. I want to look to how he plays me.
So well, now I'm going to start doing it. So the first time I actually watched the other game or other team was the past game. I watched I watched them play George Washington.
Yep.
Yeah, so just watching that full game, just seeing how they switch, seeing how they play defense, how they play. I think that helps a lot. And, for me going in, I was like, okay, I can attack this guy. He doesn't do that well. He does this great. So it helps a lot.
If he gives up the left side or
Right.
gives up whatever, you see little nuances that you could take advantage
Most
of.
definitely.
When
And
you're in the game.
something I'll be doing a lot moving forward.
Now, you played LaSalle before. What did you learn from that game you take into Saturday's game?
LaSalle, I think I was pretty aggressive too. Definitely kind of forced some things too. I was watching that game back, just playing basketball and just really not trying to force any shots. We did struggle a lot with them switching, and we just ain't find like the guard on big. There was a lot of plays where the guard was on Javante or Dov, and we didn't get it into him. And when we can't figure out the switching situation, we struggle a lot. So I think that was the biggest takeaway from that game. But besides that, I think we were pretty good. We were solid on defense, too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's get back to the shot. I want to ask you a couple of things. I did watch it a bunch of times today. And David Green, first of all, you just stood there, man. You were like at peace with the world. The ball goes in, and you are everybody else going crazy, and you're just standing there. Do you remember at all about any of that, or was it all kind of surreal? David Green came over and spoke to you more than just a word. He had a couple of things. Do you remember what was said?
Yeah, he was just like, big shot. He was just like, big shot. That was a great shot. I mean, with me personally, everybody was happy. If Sebastian made the shot, I probably would have been screaming or, excited as well. But with me, I just hit the shot. I think we were up like 1 at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then
we were up 1 at that.
Up 2, right? And then you went to the up. Yeah, up 1, and you went to the line.
Then I went to the line. So up 2.
Up 2, and you went to the line. Yeah.
So I was just thinking like,
it was a 3.
Yeah, I was just thinking like, just staying locked in.
Yeah.
Obviously, something else could happen. They could have hit a half court, a game winner. So I think it was just me. Not so like, obviously I was excited, but just being me being more locked in.
Yeah,
that
free throw put you over the top after making the 3 for the full point play. Free throws, you're pretty good, man. You're 88% going into that game.
I came a long way.
Yeah,
I came a long
way. Really?
With free throws.
That was a struggle earlier on in your career?
This is crazy. My freshman year, I shot 35%.
No.
Terrible.
At Nebraska?
At Nebraska, yeah. It was just going to the line, as a freshman, big games. I was just nervous, shaky. I know that the next summer, me and Coach worked on just shooting 100 a day. Mm-hmm. Something I still do to this day, and it's just paying off great. So
you're doing a great job with that. Absolutely unbelievable. So, what Coach say to you after the game? Well, not to the group, but when you and Archie talked, did he have anything for you to say?
He did. He knew I can do this. I know I can do this. He was just like, he challenges me, just be more consistent with it. Obviously, he tells me, like, the better I play or games I play like that, we're way better as a team, and it takes a lot of pressure off Bassie, too, when I can perform like that. So we were just talking like that, just being more consistent.
I was looking at the play-by-play, the timeline, and I didn't realize it, but you got subbed out at the first media timeout. Right? You must have said, Coach, what's going on here? Right?
Yeah, we had a little bickering going back and forth at that point. But it didn't take me out my rhythm. Well, it didn't take me out my game. I was still locked in, but I was definitely feeling hot. Then I probably could have had 25, 30.
That's it. Had a career high 20 though. That is awesome. If you had to say somebody had never watched you play, and you had to tell them the 3 best things that you do on the floor, to help your team or whatever. 1, 2, 3. What are they?
Well, by far, shooting. Shooting. I would say defending, and then the main part is just me being like, a leader. Being able to like just talk to guys, when things get rough, I'm the one that's in the huddles, just putting positive talk out there, just putting confidence into my guys, something people don't notice. So I think that's the biggest thing.
And what's the one area of the game that you say, boy, kind of like free throw used to be maybe, that I want to get better at, if not by the end of this year, by the beginning of next year?
Ball handling.
Okay.
And ball handling, definitely, and breaking my defender down one-on-one, something I'm working on. If I'm able to do that, my game will go up.
Talk about your relationship with Sebastian and even Jaden too. But you and Sebastian are the two that are going to have one or the other is going to have the ball in his hands a whole lot of time for Rhode Island. Your relationship on the court with him and off the court.
Yeah, man. Off the court, we're all good, man. We're all great. You know, everybody, the guys come up to my room. You know, we just chill out, hang. We watch a lot of basketball too, a lot of college games. But Bassie on the court, you know, we just try to talk to each other all the time. You know, see what we see out there on the floor. So it's been fun playing with him.
Transfer from Nebraska. What's it like to live a couple of years out in Nebraska?
I actually love Nebraska.
Is it?
I love Nebraska. It's a lot.
All I can think of is wheat fields and everything. Are a bunch of wheat fields. You guys are.
Well,
Lincoln's a city.
Lincoln's
right?
a city. Yeah. But outside of that, outside of that, it's cornfields and a whole lot of land. It's a lot slower out there. Definitely from Jersey.
Mm-hmm. I would say.
Everybody's so nice out there. It's and it's kind of like they look at you like a celebrity because obviously Nebraska doesn't have like pro sports out there.
Gotcha.
So the college athletics, that's like they're professional sports out there. So
now I didn't mention this. We were talking earlier. I should have mentioned. I've been out there twice with URI. We played back in 2011. And it was part of a Texas. We went at Texas and then to Nebraska. And then we went back in 2015. And the guy who was sitting in the front row was Larry the Cable Guy. Do you know who that is? Larry the Cable Guy?
Larry the Cable Guy.
Have you ever heard? You guys know him, right? Comedian, right? He's a huge Nebraska fan. He was a big-time comedian, like nationally renowned, world renowned, right? You remember him then, right? Larry the Cable Guy.
Wow, I'm sorry, Larry. No, I never heard of him.
He sat in the front row when we were there in 11 and 15. That was the big deal, because he was meteoric. Like, who's the best comedian around nowadays? The guy, whatever. Yeah, he was number one, and he was pretty cool. So I Google Larry the Cable Guy, right, just to see what he's up to, right? And I swear to God, right, May 7th. He's at the Stadium Theater in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. How the mighty have fallen. You could probably get in for about $7. But he's a big Nebraska fan, and he was probably at those games. You just probably didn't know he was there.
My fault, Larry.
How about a little about your family? I know you're from Plainfield, but you were born in North Carolina, right?
Yes, Raleigh. I was in Raleigh around six years old, and then that's when I moved to Plainfield. But don't really remember a whole lot living in North Carolina. I just know, my dad used to take me down to the community courts.
Okay. Even when you were that young, yeah.
When I was that young, I was up and down with the big guys, with the adults at 5 years old. I used to just sprint to the corner. Just sit in the corner, they'll hit me. I'll make a couple shots. I remember that, making a couple shots, but yeah, it was great. Just getting that, playing competitive early.
And little did you know you'd be in that corner at the Ryan Center, right?
Most definitely.
That was a dress rehearsal for the big. Is that the biggest shot you've ever made, and most impactful to win a game that way?
Most definitely. That was that was the biggest shot.
Yeah. How's life in Plainfield, New Jersey?
Man,
pretty cool town.
Growing up, it's cool.
Yeah.
Favorite
NBA team?
I don't have a favorite NBA team.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
Growing up, it was the Bulls. I was a huge Derrick Rose fan.
Okay.
Until I was disappointed when that the whole ACL injury.
Oh yeah.
So and then he got traded, and after that, I didn't have a favorite team.
Okay.
I do like Steph Curry, though.
Steph Curry is the player that you look up to the most. He's got he's got a great shot as well. He's got a great shot as well. Yeah, you're right up there with Steph. You and Steph, I always put the two of you right together. That's without question.
Nobody's near Steph.
How good is this team, URI? You guys got a big win. You got a stretch run to go. Can you guys make some noise here?
We could if we just Just not worried about the outside noise. Just learning from each game. I think we can focus on just fighting through adversity. I know it's something that we tend to struggle. And in previous teams I've been on too, because in college, especially on the road too, when teams are up on you and things are just not going your way, or you're not playing well, you could just get out of it. But when we're all locked in and just hooping and just playing with confidence, we're really good.
Now, is each game independent of each other, or can you build off of what you did yesterday, coming Saturday, like your individual performance?
Individual, yeah, most definitely. Like you said, just having a mindset change. Just being more aggressive, not just for myself, but for my teammates as well. Yeah. And like what Coach said earlier, when I'm just out there hooping, that's what I was. I wasn't thinking about anything. So when I'm out there playing basketball, things go good.
Absolutely. Well, we do this thing. It's called Know Your Hometown. You were apprised of this by somebody. Somebody leaked it out to you because you asked me about it before I told you about it. So the word is out. We asked you a couple of questions about your hometown. I did a couple of Plainfield, New Jerseys. I did one Nebraska and one Kingston. So kind of move you around a little. Didn't know any Raleighs, but so Plainfield, New Jersey. Know your hometown. I got like 5 questions for you. Ready? Mm-hmm. Well, we've done it with everyone, so we're gonna rank you with the rest of the guys.
Let's do it.
What county in New Jersey is Plainfield located?
Union.
Union County. Union Exactly.
County.
Very good. Excellent. Nice job. Off to a blazing start. Area codes. There are 2 area codes in Plainfield, New Jersey. Give me either one.
908 is the most common one.
908 is good.
I didn't know about the 732 one.
732 is the other one. All right, yeah, you got them both. Yeah. Excellent.
Definitely 908 though.
Fantastic. All right, Lincoln, Nebraska. All right, home of the Cornhuskers. They have 2 mascots. 2 mascots for their athletic teams. Give me the name of either one of the 2 mascots in Nebraska.
Herbie Husker and Little Red.
Herbie Husker and Lil Red are exactly right.
Yes, sir.
You were paying attention.
Yep,
That's good. And URI, I got a URI question for you. This is pretty big stuff. There's a new varsity sport at the University of Rhode Island now. They celebrated it at some point during the game, just I think it was last night or maybe the game before. What is the new varsity sport at the University of Rhode Island?
Women's lacrosse.
Women's lacrosse is right. Yeah, and they start up with a home game at Mead Stadium against Merrimack. I'm not sure exactly is the first of. We'll talk on Sunday. Oh, it's 1 o'clock on Sunday. Okay. 1 o'clock on Sunday. There you go. You did great. You were perfect. 5 for 5. That's good. Excellent. So you rank at the top of the list?
I'm at the top.
Well, 5 for 5. You can't do any better than that. Or at least tied for the top.
Yes, sir.
You're not going to get any of that pizza. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm good with that.
Let me tell you something, Jamar. From the beginning of the year, when a lot of people ask me about you, hey, what's up with that team? What's up with that team? I say, you got to get down and see a game, and you got to watch number 10. I said, because every part of the game, you look at his box score afterward, every part of the game is filled with him. He does so many things well for this team that there's some other great players, but watch number 10 because that guy can play. And also, you're a terrific person. We appreciate you very much. So thanks for coming here.
Appreciate it.
And thanks for contributing as much as you have.
Thanks for having me.
All right, man. You're the best. Jamar, thanks for making that shot, too, man.
Thank you, of course.
Hey, thank you, everybody, for coming out to the Mews Tavern. George, thanks, as always, for always supporting the University of Rhode Island. We'll see you Saturday at 4. 4 o'clock's perfect. You watch College Game Day on ESPN till noon, right? And then a little bit of the first game at noon, and then off to the Ryan Center for the big game at 4 o'clock with URI getting some revenge against LaSalle. So we are in business. Looking forward to it. Good luck on Saturday, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank
All
you.
right. Take care, everybody.
You've been listening to the Archie Miller Show. Tonight's show has been brought to you by Rhode Island Medical Imaging, the official medical imaging company of URI Athletics. Dunkin' Donuts, sip the Rhody way. Ortho Rhode Island, the official orthopedic and sports medicine provider for URI Athletics. Pizza Gourmet, Rhode Island's wood-grilled pizza crust, is a proud sponsor of URI Athletics. Bank RI, bank on our strength. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the Rhody Sports Network.